Using gliders as fighter interceptors may sound like a crazy idea, but by mid-1944, the strategic bombing campaign against Germany meant that the Luftwaffe was prepared to utilize any weapon, however strange, to try and shoot down Allied bombers. The concept of a glider fighter was developed as a cost-effective emergency solution for an air force that was increasingly starved of fuel for conventional aircraft. Aircraft manufacturer Blohm and Voss designed the BV-40, a one-man glider fighter. Naturally, it had no engine, meaning it could be very small, the pilot lying in the prone position inside an armoured cockpit. The small size of the glider would make it difficult for Allied gunners to hit it. In fact, let's take a look at a picture that really shows just how tiny this glider was. It was 18.7 feet or 5.7 meters long and weighed, armed and with a pilot, 2,094 pounds or 950 kilos. The fuselage and wing were almost entirely made of wood, a non-strategic material, and could be manufactured quickly by semi or even non-skilled workers. The cockpit was protected by thick armored glass with a blunt nose. There was no conventional undercarriage, just a two-wheel dolly that would drop off once the plane was airborne and a skid under the nose for landing. Placing weapons on gliders had been done before by the Germans. Their troop-carrying gliders were routinely armed. But look at this strange photograph. Some training gliders, the DFS Habicht or Hawk, had been modified so that in the nose was mounted an MP-40 machine pistol operated remotely from the cockpit. Obviously, such a weapon was wholly unsuitable for air combat, being of limited range and small caliber, but the concept was sound. Some Habicht gliders were camouflaged and appeared to be operational at the end of the war. The BV-40 glider mounted two 30mm Mk108 cannons mounted in the wing roots with a limited amount of ammunition, 35 rounds per gun. The first flight of a BV-40 was on the 6th of May 1944, a month before D-Day. It was towed aloft by a Messerschmitt Me-110 fighter bomber. In action, it was intended that a squadron of BV-40 would be towed up to high altitude by Messerschmitt Me-109G fighters and released several thousand feet above an incoming enemy bomber force. The small, silent gliders would dive in a steep angle towards the bomber formation, reaching a maximum speed of 560 miles per hour or 900 kilometers per hour, fire their cannons, then glide back down to the ground to be recovered for further operations. Each Me-109 would tow a pair of BV-40s to altitude. The initial attack run would be made at 20 degrees. The pilot could probably manage 1 or 2 runs before returning to Earth. The Me-109 could also attack the bombers. 19 prototype BV-40 gliders were ordered, and a contract for 200 production-quality machines was placed with Blohm and Voss. But the BV-40 project was abruptly cancelled later in 1944. 7 prototypes had been built and 5 had completed successful training flights. None exist today. The concept, although probably sound, was dumped by the Luftwaffe in favour of turbojet interceptors. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share, and also support my channel at PayPal and Patreon. Details in the description box below.